birthday! Frosty the Snowman!
What's up guys, it's Project back with another build. This one is a special one, as it's a candidate for the best build to tackle future DLC with. You're not only getting insane damage, but you're also as tanky as an ox. I'm calling this build the Snowman, since we highlight Odachi's strongest move, Moonlit Snow. But Odachi was one of the few weapons to get an actual good new skill, and that is Swirling Snow. So, combine both and you got a fast sweeper move to kill weaker enemies with, while Moonlit Snow, one of the strongest moves in the game, crushes the rest. And the damage isn't hindered by our more defensive setup. All the clips you've seen were with level sync on, excluding the Emerald farming stage, so my damage and tankiness is actually reduced by quite a margin. If you're on your first playthrough, a good tanky starter build is 5-piece Raging Bull and then Shinobi Cuirass as your chest piece. Both combined will give good defense and decent attack, without weighing too much, as the other heavier sets require too much stamina to wear in New Game, whereas this setup you'll be able to wear it with less stamina investment. And don't forget to get poison damage on your accessories. But for the final build, I'm actually going for Moonprayer and 2 Shibata. Going into DLC, percent-based mitigation is going to scale more immediately than flat defense. So this setup, while still having roughly 2400 defense, prevents a lot of damage when attacking. The beauty in Moonlit Snow is not only in its high damage, but also hyper armor. So rather than chasing tail with Kingo, which Moonlit Snow is too slow to pull off in 90% of the cases anyways, or using something like Tosa, which limits one skill per stance and makes you take a ton of damage and key damage because it's light, this setup brute forces everything, taking little damage while at the same time dishing out a ton. Now, you might want to compare Obsidian. It is the flavor of the month for Odachi, but of course, I'm here to disappoint you. Obsidian set is not great. 6 pieces are mandatory, and as you can see here, it's 400 damage lower versus Kingo and Tosa, and barely above 4-piece Moonprayer at 99 stamina. But actually, Moonprayer is better not only at 3 debuffs, which let's say in the Dark Realm adding the 3rd, but also the fact that you can gain an extra 3-piece set for 4 to 5% more melee damage on top, because Moonprayer is an Odachi set. For builds, we have 7 slots total, 8 with a ranged weapon or accessory. For Obsidian to fill up 6 slots and then an Odachi, it's too much to make Obsidian worth it. For an axe build, it might get a pass, but for an Odachi build, no. Moon Prayer with Shibata set is much tankier than it as well. Warrior of the East, if you can get 99 stamina, constitution, and strength, which is possible, that's also better than Obsidian. So I'm just making you aware before I get bombarded with, what about Obsidian? I don't think it's worth it from testing, and those damage comparisons were worth level sync off. With it on, the comparison between Moon Prayer and Obsidian is less than 70 damage, which again is only 4 pieces of Moon Prayer and only 2 debuffs. But anyways, back to the build. Instead of going max damage, I'm going max defense. 4 Moon to earn gives you 28% damage reduction when ailed and attacking. So, by using the rage buff instead of carnage, we actually gain more total defense than without the rage buff. Initially, I had the boar helm to have damage when I'm at full life to stack with Honda for a 100% chance, but that forces you to use carnage, which again makes you take unnecessary damage, and also rage gives more damage percent. Although, as you've seen in the clips, I do still use both for the extra damage from Moon Prayer buff, since at my power level, anything is dead and I never die. But the trick here is to use carnage first, and then use rage after, so rage damage overrides carnage, rage giving higher attack boost than carnage. For weapon, you got Moon Prayer Odachi, pretty obvious, get either attack bonus stamina or strength, and then you want skill damage reduction and the defense buff when using M-Snow. I found the life recovery one to be much weaker than rejuvenation, so I decided not to use it. And you don't want the attack buff as that'll override rage, which is weaker. And just copy the rest. Damage reduction versus yokai is from a soul core, transferred to a corruption weapon, and then transferred to this Odachi. Make sure to remodel your Odachi to double A scaling in stam and strength. Secondary weapon, you want Gozu Tenno's axe. This is for the rage buff, which you also want rage duration on it. You can use it in combat if you want, however, because we do scale stamina and strength just like Odachi, but it's not necessary if you don't want to. Range weapons, you want West and Saika, pretty much copy pasted from my other builds, just get agility A, and then the bow abilities to make applying poison arrows easier. And armor, Moonlit Snow on everything. Although, you could maybe sub out 1 or 2 for Swirling Snow inheritable if you find Moonlit Snow damage to be good enough. Which it usually is, even with level sync on. Make sure to put attack on all your pieces from gold inheritables, and for the skill damage you'll have to inherit it on gloves as well, because medium and heavy armor gloves can't roll skill damage percent. Chest needs life recovery, and the rest is defensive stats and mostly common sense by now. Copy what you will. Accessories, Yasa with the life recovery, yo, as well as a Magatama with it too. These and pillboxes are among the few accessories to roll life recovery absorption, so definitely use them. And then standard poison damage and poison accumulation, because why not? The game's giving you 50% damage, you might as well take it. Stats. I finally joined the 300 club, yes! Again though, most clips are with level sync, so my attack, defense, and health are reduced in them. So whenever I show my stats in the clip, you can see the difference compared to here. But stat-wise, it's actually a pretty simple spread. Pump 99 stamina, and then 99 strength. Hit the magic cap, and then start pumping into constitution for life, and you're done. Spirits, Big Bird because OP, and Snake Core because still kind of OP. But this time, Onryoki and Piggy as his secondary spirit. Both of these combined provide an extra 17.5% damage reduction when attacking. So, in total, I have 45.5% damage reduction when attacking while ailing. And because of the clan, we get an additional 80% chance to reduce any hit when at full life by half. So say Honda procs, it reduces that damage by 50%. Then you reduce that damage by another 45%. So mid-attack, ailed, and Honda proc, you're reducing damage taken by 72%. Add in protection and steel talisman to shield our health even more, and you basically take no damage for a good chunk of a battle, not even factoring blocking or dodging, just straight up trading blows. And if you do take damage, you got the life recovery absorption to heal the amount back up to full. It's all stupidly powerful defensively. And the last core is Yamamba, which gives an attack buff that's actually superior to even rage, although it does require anima. Clan, as mentioned, Honda. Not just for the 28% skill damage, but mainly the half damage as well. People truly sleep on how good this effect is. It really makes builds bulkier, especially considering how easily obtainable life recovery absorption is. And lastly, skills. If I'm being honest, I just use 2. Moonlit and Swirl, so get whatever else you want. I give Moonlit a damage stat boost and Swirl Reckless Slice. If you're feeling freaky, you can also put Raging Strike on like mid-stance Moonlit if you know you're not going to get hit, so you can get an extra 20% damage. And lastly, Subtle Blade for your Mystic Art. Ninjutsu! I'm actually so confident in not dying that I don't use Quick Change anymore for this build. Replace it with Tiger Running instead, get Blister Powders for poisoning yokai, and then Shuriken and Poison Arrows for humans. Nioh! You want weakness, rejuvenation, barrier, 2 times protection, 3 times steel talisman for even more defense, and 1 carnage for the extra debuff, and you're good. Awakening Mystic Art for faster casting. And that's the Snowman. Hope you guys like this brutish build. Alongside Apocalypse and Blender, I would say this is easily one of my stronger all-around builds. It's just safe, and Moonlit damage is insane. You don't melt yokai as fast as Blender, but you definitely handle everything else equally or better. So I definitely recommend it, especially going into DLC. The next build is Axe, and then we'll see from there. But what do you guys think of the build, and what weapon do you want me to build next after Axe? Let me know in the comments down below. Check out my other builds in the annotations. Throw a snowball like that like button. Join the Snowman army by joining the channel. And subscribe for more Nioh 2 Frosties.